Once upon a time, in a small, forgotten town, there stood an abandoned building with a dark and disturbing history. The structure was an old asylum that had been operational decades ago, and its looming presence cast a shadow over the entire community. Locals whispered tales of the horrors that had taken place within its walls, and those who dared to venture near claimed to have heard unsettling whispers and felt icy fingers brush against their skin. The asylum had been closed down due to reports of inhumane treatments and experiments conducted on its patients. Rumors spoke of sadistic doctors who performed twisted surgeries and psychological experiments on the vulnerable inhabitants. Patients had supposedly been subjected to cruel tortures and left to suffer in the confines of the decaying building. One chilling story that circulated was that of a young girl named Isabella, who had been committed to the asylum after her family deemed her possessed. The doctors believed she was a danger to herself and others, and they subjected her to a series of exorcisms that left her physically and mentally scarred. It was said that Isabella's tormented spirit still roamed the hallways, her anguished cries echoing through the empty corridors. As time passed, the building fell into disrepair, its windows shattered, and its walls covered in graffiti. Despite warnings from local authorities and tales of eerie occurrences, a group of adventurous teenagers decided to explore the abandoned asylum one fateful night. Armed with flashlights and a sense of reckless curiosity, they entered the building, their hearts pounding with a mixture of fear and excitement. The further they delved into the asylum's depths, the more they sensed a palpable unease in the air. Whispers seemed to emanate from the walls, and shadows danced just beyond their flashlight beams. As they wandered through the decrepit halls, they stumbled upon a room that sent shivers down their spines. Inside, they found old medical equipment, rusted restraints, and unsettling drawings scrawled across the walls in what looked like blood. Suddenly, a bone-chilling scream echoed through the building, freezing them in their tracks. Panic set in as they realized they were not alone. They followed the sound to a darkened hallway, where they saw a flicker of movement. Heart pounding, they cautiously approached, their flashlights revealing a figure standing at the end of the corridor. It was a gaunt, spectral figure in tattered hospital garb. Isabella. Her hollow eyes bore into theirs, filled with a mixture of anguish and rage. The room seemed to grow colder, and their breath turned to mist in the air. Isabella's lips parted, and a guttural, otherworldly voice emanated from her. She spoke of the torment she endured, the pain and suffering inflicted upon her innocent soul. As her voice grew louder, the walls seemed to close in, and the teens felt an oppressive weight on their chests. Desperate to escape, they turned and fled, racing through the winding corridors, their screams mixing with Isabella's haunting cries. They burst out of the building, breathless and trembling, vowing never to return. The next morning, the authorities received a call from a concerned neighbor reporting strange noises coming from the abandoned asylum. When they arrived, they found nothing but silence. The building stood as it always had, decrepit and empty, with no sign of the teenagers who had ventured inside. The townspeople continued to avoid the place, knowing that the stories of its disturbing history were more than mere tales. They were a chilling reality that still lingered within its walls.